You know that feeling when you start something with so much fire, and then a week later, it's gone. You tell yourself, this time will be different, but it never is. You're not lazy, you're not weak, but something inside you keeps breaking the cycle before it even becomes one. Today, I want to tell you about a man who lived this way for years, until one moment changed everything. His name was Arjun, 24 years old, living in a small room, working a job he hated. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was he had started everything. Gym membership 3 times, online course 5 different ones, a journal to track his habits, bought 4, filled 2 pages. Every Sunday night, he'd sit on his bed and make a new plan. Monday, I'll wake up at 5 a.m. This week, I'll study for 2 hours. I'll finally finish that project. Monday morning, he'd wake up at 5, feel proud, and by Wednesday, he was back to waking up at 9. The plan would die quietly, and the guilt, it stayed loud. He didn't tell anyone, but inside, he felt like a fraud. Not because he failed, but because he kept starting and never finishing. One evening, Arjun sat in a cafe. He opened his phone and saw an old note titled Goals 2023. He read it: learn guitar, get fit, start a side business, read 20 books. He hadn't done any of it. But the worst part? He had written the exact same goals in 2022 and 2021. He stared at the screen. His chest felt heavy. "What's wrong with me?" he whispered. He thought about all the people around him. His friend who learned coding and got a better job. His cousin who lost 15 kg and looked completely different. They weren't smarter than him. They weren't more talented. So why were they finishing and he was still starting? He closed the note, ordered another coffee, and did what he always did. He opened YouTube and searched how to stay consistent. Watched 5 videos, felt motivated, made another plan. A few days later, Arjun's landlord asked him to help move some old furniture. In the corner of the storeroom, he found a half-finished painting. It was beautiful, a sunset. The sky was done, the ocean was outlined, but the beach? Empty. "Who made this?" Arjun asked. The landlord smiled sadly. "I did 20 years ago." "Why didn't you finish it?" The old man sat down on a dusty chair. "I was going to. I really was. But then I started a new one, then another. I told myself I'd come back to this, but I never did." He looked at the painting. "You know what I realized too late, son?" Arjun shook his head. "Starting feels like progress. It feels like hope, but finishing requires you to face the truth." "What truth?" he asked. "That you're not as good as you thought, that it's harder than it looked, that you might fail even after giving your best." The old man's voice dropped. "So we restart. We tell ourselves, next time I'll do it better. But we're not restarting to improve. We're restarting to avoid the end." Arjun stood there, silent. The words hit him like a stone in still water. He wasn't restarting because he was optimistic. He was restarting because finishing scared him. That night, Arjun went home. He opened his laptop. He looked at all his unfinished things: the half-written blog, the workout plan for March, the online course stuck at 40%. And for the first time, he didn't make a new plan. He asked himself a different question. What if I just finish one thing? Not the biggest thing, not the most impressive thing, just one thing. He chose the online course. It wasn't exciting anymore, it wasn't new, but it was there. Every day for the next 2 weeks, he opened it. Some days he studied for 10 minutes, some days 30. He didn't feel motivated most of the time, but he kept going. And then, one Tuesday afternoon, he clicked Submit Final Project. The screen showed Certificate of Completion. Arjun stared at it. It wasn't a big course, it wasn't going to change his life overnight, but something inside him shifted. For the first time in years, he had proof. Proof that he could finish. Proof that he wasn't just a person who tried. He was someone who completed. And that identity, it changed everything. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear.
Restarting feels good because it's safe. You get the excitement without the pressure. You get the dream without the struggle. But every time you restart, you're training your brain to quit. You're teaching yourself that trying is enough. It's not. Finishing is what builds you. Finishing is where the real growth happens, because finishing forces you to push through doubt, boredom, frustration, and fear. It teaches you that you're stronger than your feelings. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need massive motivation. You just need to stop running from the finish line. Pick one thing, doesn't matter how small, and finish it. Not because it's easy, but because finishing will teach you who you really are. Arjun still lives in that small room. He still works that same job, but now he finishes what he starts. Not every time, not perfectly, but enough to know he's not the person he used to be. And neither are you. You've been restarting long enough. It's time to finish. Just once, and watch how everything changes.